Welcome students to another class of BA Part 1 English Literature. We are continuing with Paper 1, Section B, and in today's class we are going to talk about another British poet, John Dryden, born in 1631 and died in 1700s. And he is another of the very popular poets, and he stands in popularity amongst the famous poets like Milton and Shakespeare because of his wonderful way of writing poems. And in your syllabus, we have one of his very famous poem, A Song of Saint Cecilia's Day. And before we move on to study the poem in detail, let us in this first lesson understand something about John Dryden, who is seen as a dominating literary figure of the Restoration period. And because he was so popular, the age when he wrote is also been known as the age of Dryden. And he wrote almost 30 plays besides his poetry, and he was also one of the greatest dramatists of his time. So, the poem in your course is the Song of Saint Cecilia's Day, and in the first stanza, we will read it aloud to understand the rhythm and the rhyme. From harmony, from heavenly harmony, this universal frame began, when nature underneath a heap of jarring atoms lay, and could not have her head. The tuneful voice was heard from high, Arise ye more than dead, then cold and hot and moist and dry, in order to their stations leap, and music's power obey. From harmony, from heavenly harmony, this universal frame began. From harmony to harmony, through all the compass of the notes it ran, the diapason closing full in man. So, in this first stanza, we find that how the poet has taken a very elevated subject of the creation of the earth, the life on earth, and here the basic theme of the poem is that in this ode, it is an ode, so it's a figure of speech, honor, where we describe in detail or we dedicate a subject to a particular theme. And in this ode, it's a celebration in the memory of a saint called Cecilia, who was a very religious, pious Christian lady who sacrificed her life in Rome in the year 230 AD. And she is loved by all as a saint and great patron of music. Her music has very divine divinity qualities of God's own subject. And in this, the poet explains the genesis or creation of this universe by the power of music, and no ordinary music but the divine music. In this, the poet imagines that the the frame of this universe evolved through the power of music. The power of harmony of heavenly music brought to the various elements of the universe to make it a compact whole. Nature lay under a heap of discordant atoms scattered away from one another. The power of nature, which was responsible for the creation of life could not function as the planets were in disorderly position. The atoms of the universe were disorderly. Order comes from harmony, and harmony is created with the power of music. So, what power music has over inanimate objects, that it can bring them together and help in bringing uniformity and life on earth. So, God commanded all the disorderly atoms through the sound or symphony of his music. And on the command of God, which was received through the musical sound, all the atoms sprang up at once and they occupied their proper positions in accordance with divine orders conveyed through music. So, in the first stanza, the poem has total 7 stanzas, and in the end, there is a chorus which describes the involvement of music in both the makings of the universe and the subtleties of human emotion and pity. And in stanza 1, an unnamed speaker opens the poem by describing how the world was created according to a certain kind of heavenly harmony or divine order. From a chaotic state in which the universe existed in the form of scattered atoms, nature was called to existence by music's power. The creation of the universe, initiated by the command of music, then culminated in the creation of man. So, in this, Dryden has connected the power of music to the creation of the whole earth, all the living beings on the earth. So, we can very well imagine in his beautiful poem that how everything initially was haphazard, all the atoms were disarrayed, and just by the power of the divine music, they all gathered together to form the different elements of nature. So, it's a very important and powerful poem. And in this poem, you have to focus on how the repetition has been laid emphasis upon, and repetition like from harmony, from heavenly harmony. So this keeps repeating again and again, from harmony, from heavenly harmony. So harmony means coming together in peace. When everything, if you have heard about or you have listened to an orchestra which has many instruments which play together, but if they play together in the same rhythm and rhyme, harmony is created and a beautiful music emerges. But if all the instruments they play their own music, then what kind of a sound will be created? It will not be good to hear. It will become a noise. It will not be music. So, similarly, initially everything in nature was in the form of disharmony, and nature was buried in jarring atoms which contradict each other. The, but the tuneful voice was heard from high, and all those things which were more than dead, the coldness, the hotness, moistness, and dryness, according to their nature, they leap, they come out and obeyed music's power by aligning together from harmony, from heavenly harmony. This universe started through all the compass of the notes. It ran. So slowly the music ran according to the different notes on as if on a piano there are different notes, and the highest note, the diapason, which closed when man was to be created. So man was created as the highest musical power of the instrument. So, in this poem, Dryden tries to give or lay importance to the creation of man in God's best of the music. So, this is how this stanza has been explained, and we will continue to read the uh, other six stanzas in our next class. Do read it again and underline the difficult words. With this, we come to the end of part 1.